पता नहीं इनका न्यूज़ है। फिर कोई पूछे कि पेन ड्राइव लेके गए।
Excuse me.
पेन ड्राइव है उनके पास।
So the person has to just give a key and we'll play it. Yeah, we just get we just have one presentation. I think Mr. is here. When he comes, he probably give a key or something.
इसमें मैम
हाँ ये आप इसको कहीं सिस्टम पे कॉपी कर सकते हैं। तो जो आपका जो लाइव स्ट्रीम है उसमें भी जाएगा ये?
हाँ जी, जो लाइव स्ट्रीम होगी ना तो उससे भी पीपीटी जाएगी वहाँ पे।
ले जाएगा।
ये आपका 3rd नंबर है।
ठीक है।
वैसे तो मैं फुल करके रख देता हूँ,
फिर करके रखो।
ठीक है। जब आपको करना होगा मैं शो कर दूँगा।
ये हाँ ये मेरा जो she knows if anyone who apologizes.
चेक चेक
म्यूट है अभी। ठीक ठीक।
चेक 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 चेक। क्या लास्ट वाले का नहीं चाहिए पानी, पी लिया। नहीं चाहिए, नहीं 6 मेंबर चाहिए थे। हेलो हेलो, हाँ कौन? मैं मेरे रूम में हूँ। हेलो, मैं वहाँ 10 में। नहीं, काम है मेरा, काम है स्पीकर्स कहाँ पे जाए? सब ऑन है। चेक चेक।
Sorry? One of the partners is hosting, but all these people are not. It's not a very big thing.
Hat he's wearing today amongst the many as a philanthropist, as a person who led one of the largest health software organizations from this country ever made, and as a person who has been running the Quida Foundation for a while. But the hat he's wearing today is that of a person who's heading NABH, the national body that provides accreditation for standards and is the most important body in health. And I thought, with Rizwan here, we will initially hear from him his overall view on what I just briefly introduced. Then just going from this side to that side, all friends over here. Dr. Rana Mehta is a person who used to be a doctor, then effectively made Apollo and their entire electronic health systems what it is. And then, of course, moved further to consulting in PwC, is one of the top people for health consulting in this country. So we look forward to hearing from him about how they see this particular thing. Dr. Mona Duggal is a person who is one of the earliest people who did both community health and health informatics training from abroad, came back and tried to use these kind of systems to make community health better. I know her personally for a very long time, but when it came time for Niti Aayog to decide is diabetic retinopathy screening worthwhile in a community, she's the person who led one of those trials. But the hat she will wear for today's discussion is not that. It's a very new one, and she's yet to figure out how exactly and how many thorns it contains while it fits. But she's the incoming director of a new ICMR institute. I shall refer it to as National Institute for Digital Health Research. All that name is not yet officially formal. But if digital health is important, we certainly need a national institute for research in that area. And of course, it is very, very important along with all this to have people who have been doing this for a long time. The entire idea of building standards, the idea of creating excellence through those standards, and Jay Ganesh as the leader of AEHIN. And in a previous role, when he used to build electronic health at Satya Sai, has seen how to implement this in India, but more importantly, he has also seen how to take this globally across the entire region. And his advice is very well sought after regarding how to build standards, create excellence, and measure it quantitatively. So we look forward to. One of our panelists, Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanitkar, is on her way. She's delayed. I'll introduce her anyway right now. She was the highest ranking ever medical officer at one point in time. She is currently the Vice Chancellor of Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. Along with the Quida Foundation, they were the first to create a digital health course for medical students that is now available on the government iGot platform, where it has received rave ratings, and I think tens of thousands of people, lakhs of people have already benefited. So who better than her to talk about how all this can be learned from the time today's generation enter medical schools. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to the chair, Mr. Rizwan Quaita, to set the deeper foundation for the kind of the shallow vision that I provided. Over to you, Rizwan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Anurag. It's a pleasure to be with you all today, so appreciate the opportunity. And as Professor Anurag mentioned, while I've been involved with healthcare in many different ways, as an entrepreneur, as a tech entrepreneur, in my role in running the foundation, but today's session is largely wearing my hat as the chair of NABH and talking a little bit about how we think about accreditation and unlike the previous chairs who have all been very senior doctors, in this particular case, NABH has a chair who is more of a business person and an engineer. So I'm going to give you a business perspective to why accreditation is important and being able to really drive the business of healthcare forward and make quality a reality. So before I start, I'm going to come over. So we have one more panelist, Neeraj, who has just walked in. So sorry. Yeah. So Neeraj leads a PATH, which is one of the largest, not-for-profits working in the space of healthcare. So welcome, Neeraj. So if you look at, how many of you all have been involved in some form, fashion in buying a car? Can you all put up your hand? Many of you all would have, right, in our lives. Now, each of the cars has an engine, and the engine...
To maybe start summing up the key learnings from this session. And if we have time, we will go back to Jay for some example that he had in mind.
Sure. So I'll make a comment and then I'll just summarize. So, Neeraj spoke about challenges in the public health and digital adoption there. So one of the things I would like just the audience to understand in terms of what is really happening on the ground. What happens on the ground is that because public health is delivered by the government machinery, the people who are in the government machinery are required to use tools which are predominantly built by government. It could be the Poshan app, it could be RCH, it could be even the public, the PHC software, the secondary, the tertiary software, and so on and so forth. And what is happening is that because of the fact that the government is the producer, government is the buyer, it precludes a lot of the innovation that often is coming in the private sector. So one of the challenges that India should really think about is how do we look at the procurement of such software or creating an ecosystem.
And we could use now data scientists and people who understand AI really to look at whatever large data sets we are able to collect. This could be from allopathic hospitals, Ayurvedic hospitals, and those kind of things. I think that kind of analytics would give us great insights now, which perhaps was not possible earlier.
Very insightful, Dr. Soumya ji. Actually, just to add, recently India has, taken this responsibility of leading a talking group of AI in traditional medicine among this WHO ITU group of AI in health. So thank you, Dr. Soumya ji, again. Now we have one first final question. It's a fire round. One question to all of the panelists. I will start with Dr. Dorji. And my question is, looking ahead to the next 5 years, what is the one thing that is needed most for traditional medicine to advance the health and well-being of all?
In next 5 years. Over the next 5 years, the key to advancing traditional medicine is establishing Bhutan as a center of excellence in Sawarikpa, the center of excellence in the region and beyond. By focusing on the sustainable and innovative practices, we will preserve and promote Sawarikpa and very much ensuring it remains relevant, accessible, and contribute to global health.
Thank you. Now it's turn of Dr. Saima Wazir ji. The same question, looking ahead to the next 5 years, what is the one thing that is needed most for traditional medicine to advance the health and well-being of all?
Well, this is a very exciting time to be regional director of WHO because, in the next 5 years, given the advancement now and the recognition traditional medicine has and the practices that exist in countries, what we hope to do is to bring that data together and bring some common knowledge and shared knowledge in a standardized format. And so that what exists is what the knowledge that exists in communities, in individual countries can come to a global platform and be shared across. And that is really, where the change has to be because traditional medicine is all about well-being. It's holistic. Particularly, this impacts mental health because in many ways, modern day medicine has not always been able to address mental health care needs. It's, of course, very important for vulnerable populations where modern day medicine isn't always easily available. But we also have to look at the particular population when it comes to women's health and children's health. A lot of medicine have side effects or cannot be taken at certain times, particularly when a woman is pregnant. There's not a lot of access to medicine. So taking all of this information and practice and bringing it into a well-being structure through generating the evidence and creating the standards so that governments and policymakers can have national plans and they can have national policies, but also the right evidence that they can believe in. So that's what we hope to do.
Thank you. And Mr. Aditya.
The next 5 years, very true. It's going to be an absolute wonderful time for traditional medicine. What is the one thing? I think there's a lot that we can do, people on this panel, scientists, people in healthcare. But there is the softer aspect of things. Again, going back to the recipient of this information, I think that there is the kind of rhetoric when it comes to things such as cinema, TV shows. I'm probably showing my age on this, but Grey's Anatomy, if they were talking about introducing something from Ayurveda into one of the protocols, these are the things that catches the imagination of the world, right? It's not just this one weird out there idea that, sure, one day when it becomes exactly what I'm expecting, that's when I'll take it. It has to start becoming a part of the global nomenclature. How is it that people are viewing this? It's not just a matter of, getting all the scientific proof and all the thick dockets of information, though that really helps getting it there. But when the people are ready to receive, I think that'll be a huge change. It's a bit of PR, a bit of marketing perhaps, incorporated with a lot of great science and a lot of conviction on our part. So I think from our side, we will do scientifically and medically what we can, but on the other side, we hope that the rhetoric switches into our favor, and we can do a lot about that as well, I feel.
Perfect. What about you, Dr. Seifert?
Now, since I come from Germany and for the first time traditional medicine and integrative medicine is in the main agenda of the government and the new coalition that is in power, I see the big potential in the field of prevention and integrative models. But to be honest, we need strong evidence, and we need also good business models that are evaluated and that show an advantage in terms of cost effectiveness. I think everything else doesn't make sense since especially our healthcare systems in Europe are actually too expensive and not effective enough, especially if it comes to NCDs.
So two messages is a high-end evidences and good business model, I think. Thank you. Dr. Tanushree?
I see that in the next 5 years, as young people are already adopting traditional medicine in large numbers, that they are also more involved in advocating for the demands that they are looking for, to establish that anecdotal evidence into scientific evidence, into research evidence, and to build that trust in the traditional medicine that we all are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanushree. Dr. Soumya ji?
Yes, I think that, the whole world is now talking about One Health. And even in the context of pandemic preparedness, the pandemic treaty that's just been agreed to, historic occasion by the member states talks about one of the elements there is One Health in pandemic preparedness. So I think One Health is nothing but, taking care of your environment, thinking about other species, whether they're plants and animals, and using them, in a way in which you can promote also human health and well-being. So I think that maybe different things are converging now, and as everyone else has said, this is the time really to come together, to bring the disciplines together, not fight over which one is better, or but to really develop the science and communicate it effectively to people, so that you're really talking about delivering the best person-centered care for that individual, because ultimately that's what the person who comes for care actually wants, is that they should get better, they should have a sense of well-being. They don't look into what you're prescribing. They'll take whatever the doctor's, telling you to take. But the issue is, as health professionals, can we, really put aside those differences that we've had in our training and so on, to actually come together and think about the individual and the family and the community at the end of the day and do the best for them. Thanks.
So two messages, person is at the center and One Health. Thank you, Soumya ji. Now we have some time left for the participation of the audience. And, maybe we can raise our hands and then we start from you, sir, here at second row. Yes.
Sir, as a patient,
Please use the mic, sir.
Severe health crisis face किया हो last 30 साल.
Please introduce yourself also.
सर मेरा नाम गिरीश अग्रवाल है. मैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हूँ बाय क्वालिफिकेशन, और जॉब भी मेरा फाइनेंस में ही रहा.
Your question.
क्वेश्चन मेरा हेल्थ और वेलनेस से इसलिए है कि मेरी हेल्थ बहुत सीवियर हेल्थ क्राइसिस रहा 25 से 30 साल लगभग, जिसमें फर्स्ट जो था बेसिकली साइकोसोमेटिक था सारा केस. मेरा मेंटल और इमोशनल बैलेंस डिस्टर्ब हो गया था, जिसकी वजह से
एक्चुअली अब हम जो जिस सेशन के संदर्भ में कुछ हो तो बताइए.
हाँ, सेशन के संदर्भ में है जहाँ पॉलिसी और रेगुलेटरी है और एविडेंस के ऊपर है. जैसे अभी मैं 22 में पलक्कड़ गया था, सारे टेस्ट हुए थे, उसमें कुछ नहीं निकला था टेस्ट के अंदर जहाँ तक एविडेंस बेस्ड का सवाल है. और सीवियर डिप्रेशन था, सारे डाइजेस्टिव इशू गड़बड़ था, सिर्फ एक विटामिन डी में थोड़ा सा कमी आई, मतलब ठीक ठाक कमी थी, और किसी भी पैरामीटर में कमी नहीं थी. एविडेंस बेस्ड वाला जो एंगल है, जो मेरा पॉलिसी और रेगुलेटरी के एंगल से जो पहला क्वेश्चन है जो मैं फेस कर रहा हूँ, मैं कोटक्कल में एडमिट रहा दिल्ली में, कड़कड़डुमा 15 दिन, ठीक है. तो वहाँ डाइट का इशू था, और दूसरा था पंचकर्मा ओपीडी के रूप में कहीं अवेलेबल नहीं है. मतलब हॉस्पिटल में एडमिशन होने का मतलब है बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है.
सर आपका ये इश्यूज है ना, मैं आपको पर्सनली बात करके रिजोल्व कर सकता हूँ, है ना, ठीक है ना.
और इसके अलावा एविडेंस बेस पे सर एक क्वेश्चन है, एविडेंस बेस पे एक सेंटेंस में, फॉर एग्जांपल रिफाइंड ऑयल के पहले कोलेस्ट्रॉल की रिसर्च आई ओरिजिनल, जो बाद में रिवर्स हो गई, और आज भी रिफाइंड ऑयल चल रहा है हर जगह पे. तो एविडेंस का क्या मीनिंग हुआ फिर?
सौम्या जी आप कुछ रिस्पॉन्ड करना चाहेंगे इसमें?
हाँ, तो जो डाइट की बात है उसमें तो बहुत चीज़ें हैं जिसमें जा सकते हैं हम डिटेल में. तो इसमें हेल्दी ऑयल्स कौन से हैं, अनहेल्दी कौन से हैं, अफोर्डेबल क्या हैं, कई सारी चीज़ें हैं. बैलेंस डाइट होना चाहिए बेसिकली, तो उसके ऊपर बाद में चर्चा करेंगे.
हाँ, यस.
Hi, I'm Pooja Jha, Editor-in-Chief, The Lancet Regional Health Europe from Munich, Germany. And as an editor of a leading publishing house, I have two questions. One is, we hardly publish anything on traditional medicine. And one reason is because, as Dr. Swaminathan, you mentioned, we are heavily focused on reductive science. So the way we evaluate has to be very high power, statistical and robust science. And therefore, perhaps a lot of traditional medicine papers do not fall in the realm of what Lancet publishes. So my question is, what can you suggest to us as editors of Lancet? What can we do to bring traditional medicine at the global stage so that people have trust in traditional medicine? And the second question is that we don't publish a lot because we don't receive papers, high quality papers on traditional medicine. So my question is, why don't we receive papers, high quality clinical trials on traditional medicine? Thank you.
So your second question pertains to the audience because the stakeholders are sitting here. It is challenge to them that why you are not submitting high quality publications and for the publication in Lancet. I would request again, Aditya ji, if you want to respond.
If I may, actually, I think one part is actually expense. It's expensive to submit something to an international journal. And I'm sorry, I don't mean you specifically or any journal specifically. It's just, you know, the traditional medicine, you know, it happens at a level where, you know, the expense of going through and getting something ready for that global stage is very difficult. So perhaps if there was some, you know, program within some of these, you know, such wonderful publications that bring the knowledge to the world to actually incorporate some of those things, you know, that idea into it, it would be super helpful. And the other part is that language, I feel, has also been quite a challenge, right? So for somebody who is in a rural part of India, who has this knowledge and has done some research and could perhaps get funding together to run a trial, very often, you know, it's a language issue, it's a culturally sort of understanding what the other side wants issue. So yeah, I think outreach from you know, the side of the publishers, but of course, I think the government and the powers that be should also perhaps create a platform which allows for this. And I think AI is going to help a lot with that, especially with things like language. So yeah, sorry.
I can just add one more part. I mean, you've already heard about anecdotal information, qualitative research, right? So in medical science, we don't really value qualitative research or mixed research design. But one of, in addition to all of this, one of the other challenges is to get published in a peer-reviewed journal, you also have to have the right references, right? So if you don't have other research to reference, you can't really validate. So journals or peer reviewers are going to say, okay, what are they basing it on? So you've got a combination of language, you've got a combination of the practices that we have, but also publication policy and methodology that's set in a way that we all accept and acknowledges the correct way, but it doesn't quite fit in with this particular topic. So I think one of the things we would need is for journals to also create the opportunity. So if that opportunity is created, you will have research publications, and that will help generate people who are interested in working in this area to follow up and do further research.
Thank you. Probably adding some human resource into your editorial team from traditional medicine will also help. Yes, please.
Yeah, my name is Angela Brandt from Maastricht University and Manipal. I have been trained as a medical doctor, pediatrician, and as a clinician in Germany, then worked in evidence on health technology assessment, and then in Mahe. Over the last 12 years, I learned a lot from Balya Tanzer about Ayush biology and really the very holistic, individualized way to look into medicine. And when we see now our Western medicine, in the end, the evidence is more or less 50%. That's nothing. Then we see the growing scientific knowledge coming from Ayush biology, applying the omics by microbiome enabling technologies, and we have amazing results. So my question is, or my suggestion is, I think we should integrate the Western medicine in the traditional medicine. And the start, because we are not in the Western medicine, we are still stratified. And we will never get to individualized, to personalized, what we want to, where we want to go. So to really start with traditional medicine and avoid the systematic bias, what we have with stratified medicine in Western world. That would be really my wish.
Thank you. Actually, Ayurveda Biology program, it was initiated from Manipal University. And thanks for that contribution. And your suggestion is well taken. And it's like integration of modern medicine into the Ayurveda. You can consider going to All India Institute of Ayurveda in Delhi, which is a living model of such types of integration. Please, here. इस दिशा में भी देखना चाहिए.
Hi, I'm Sparsh. I run a pharmaceutical manufacturing and exporting entity. So my question is primarily that the medicine works on the basis of confidence of healthcare professionals. So how are we moving ahead in the infrastructure part of developing more healthcare professionals focused towards the traditional medicine?
So who wants to respond? Maybe I respond. Actually, this is a question which comes as a country-specific question. So we are sitting in India, so I can respond from India perspective. So in India, there is a very, very strategic investment happening in the health sector by creating ecosystem, new education institutions, new aims, number of medical seats, number of Ayush colleges, etc. It's already going on, and a great transparency and innovation in education is going on, and it is being visible over the period of years. And you are right that investing in infrastructure and human resource is the core thing of the healthcare industry or healthcare sector. May I invite Ravi Acharya for if he wants to ask some question. काफी देर से आप हाथ खड़ा कर रहे थे कुछ. Respond न करिए आप. Respond करने का काम यहाँ है.
No, you have asked now from the audience side regarding why the articles are not being published in a good Lancet. Very short, sir. We need that Lancet should have, because at the outrage they reject the article. We don't have reviewers. The first question, we don't have, our policy does not adopt, and we don't have reviewers. So I want to say that now Ayush and particularly traditional medicine, WHO is concerned, we have a good amount of research work being done and being published. So let us have your policy to adopt this type of traditional medicine being published in our journal. That's my suggestion. Yeah.
Maybe last, Mitali, she also raised her. This is last question.
Just a comment that One Health framework is implicit in Ayurveda, because it maintains biodiversity and it maintains the context-specific food, everything. But I do not see in the country's programs, Ayurveda has been integrated into the One Health framework in the ICMR setup. So I think I would like to know the comments, because the way the medicines are sourced is locally and contextually. And you have so many ways to arrive at the same outcome. So I think there has to be some deliberation on integration of Ayurveda into One Health framework when these studies are being conducted.
So Mitali ji, it is going on. One Health is being moderated or taken by or driven by Office of Principal Scientific Advisor of the PM. And Ayush is integral part of One Health mission. So in NIOS also, Ayush is there and it is being taken up. So I think we have, I suggest that rest of the questions, because after this event we will have, some free time. So the curious audience who has some more questions, they can ask. And I'm so happy that this debate, this panel discussion has created a lot of curiosity. There are a lot of questions still pending, but due to lack of time, we have to close this session. And I hand over the session to Rini.
Thank you. Sir. Thank you very much. All those who have questions, please do come up at the end of the program to ask those questions. Let it not just go unasked. Thank you so much to the esteemed panelists, our guests and participants for being part of today's meaningful dialogue. The depth, the diversity, and of course the vision that was reflected is truly inspiring. We now have the honor of hearing from Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Director General of the World Health Organization. His leadership has been instrumental in placing traditional medicine at the heart of the global health discourse, not as an alternative, but as a vital, evidence-informed part of universal health coverage and the planetary well-being. So it is my honor now to invite Dr. Tedros to deliver his remarks.
Honorable Vice Minister Rajesh Kotecha, WHO Regional Director Saima Wazid, Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, Namaste. Traditional medicine is as old as humanity itself. For hundreds of millions of people, traditional medicine is just medicine. 2/3 of WHO member states report a significant use of traditional, complementary, and integrated medicine among their populations. Through the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar, we're supporting research to harness the power of these ancient practices. Bringing innovation, data, and partnerships to bear, we can increase the impact, improve safety, and protect biodiversity. At next month's World Health Assembly, WHO member states will consider and hopefully adopt the new global strategy for traditional medicine. And in December this year, we will hold the second WHO Global Traditional Medicine Summit in Delhi. The summit will be an opportunity to announce new commitments to implement the global strategy and invest in research. I thank His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his leadership and partnership in traditional medicine. And I thank all of you for your commitment to bringing ancient traditions and modern innovations together for health for all. I thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Tedros. Your message today is a powerful call to action for all of us. So as we look forward, it is clear that this is not the conclusion of our conversation. It is only the beginning of a shared journey, a journey that is as much about restoring balance within ourselves as it is about restoring balance in our communities, in our health systems, and in our relationship with the natural world. So that journey, ladies and gentlemen, continues at the second WHO Global Traditional Medicine Summit from the 2nd to the 4th of December 2025 in New Delhi, as Dr. Tedros had just mentioned. So let's together take a look at the closing video on the second WHO Global Traditional Medicine Summit.
How do we find balance? We find it in tradition, in practices that honor indigenous knowledge systems, offering unique perspectives on health and well-being, by bringing together centuries-old wisdom and cutting-edge science.
I think it's important that we realize that conventional and traditional medicine can go hand in hand.
Traditional medicine is not a thing of the past. There is a growing demand for traditional medicine across countries, communities, and cultures.
What we do need is to have a really strong, forward-looking, progressive way of being able to recognise the medicines of millennia.
The holding of WHO Global Summit on Traditional Medicine will intensify efforts to harness its potential.
The first WHO Traditional Medicine Global Summit set a baseline for action, a foundation of progress, data, and new technologies to unlock the full potential of traditional medicine. The 2025 Global Summit presents a pivotal moment to take this even further, expanding the evidence base for scientific innovations in traditional medicine. Recognizing the unrelenting instability in the world today, the summit will center around restoring balance, accelerating conversation and collaboration on topics like biodiversity protection, intellectual property rights, and the potential of AI, including the launch of the WHO Traditional Medicine Global Library. Join us as we explore how the nexus of traditional medicine and modern science can restore balance and well-being for people and our planet.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our upcoming summit in December will be a gathering of extraordinary minds and voices, knowledge holders, scientists, youth leaders, innovators, policymakers, and community representatives coming together in person and online to shape the future of traditional medicine in the context of equity, sustainability, and resilience. As we come to the close of this session, we warmly invite each of you to participate, not only as attendees, but as co-creators of the future we aspire to. Because restoring balance is not just a policy goal, it is a personal and planetary commitment. So once again, thank you for your presence, for your passion, and for your partnership today. We look forward to seeing you in December, refreshed in spirit, united in purpose, and ready to carry the momentum forward. Thank you. Namaste. Could we get the WHO team to please come up for a group photograph? Mr. Kotesha, may I request you to please remain on stage? WHO team, please quickly come up on stage for a photograph. WHO team, please quickly come up. Thank you, Consul.